Well, we've been asking you all morning to send in your views and concerns about the budget. And I have to say, the thing that has really lit up the morning's inbox is the electric vehicles, which is quite interesting. This one from Andrew, for example, saying, for past years, governments have pushed buying electric vehicles. He's got one. And he's now saying, after all these changes, maybe he should just sell it and buy a petrol car. I think that, there's an awful lot of people saying that they don't understand the changes and they can't really work out why it's happened. This one from Scott, I wanted to bring you from as well, and he is talking about the thresholds in particular. Scott says, I want to say that Labour's lost my vote. I am, or was, a lifelong supporter. These lies are too much to take. The threshold lie was the straw that broke the camel's back. So awful lot of stuff in the inboxes over the tax changes. But yeah, the electric vehicles, interestingly, is definitely one that's got people going as well. Right, let's talk to the opposition, shall we? The Shadow Chancellor, Mel Stride, is here. We can get a bit more reaction to the budget. What did you make of it?
Well, I think wrong choices, Sophie. So what we've seen is putting up taxes substantially on hard-working people, and at the same time we've seen the benefits bill increase, and so a transfer from taxpayers to benefits, which we think is the wrong choice. What we think we should be doing is controlling government spending, particularly around welfare, getting that bill down, so that we can get taxes down instead of them going up and damaging people's living standards and damaging the economy.
I'm struggling to get my head around you guys now becoming the kind of Robin Hood of the sort of tax world. When you were in government, tax revenue as a share of national income was 36% when you left office, highest tax burden since 1948, and then you were planning to raise taxes even more on top of that.
Well, it's now heading up, of course, to the record that it will ever have been established in our country under this government. But look, we had particular circumstances when we were in office. We had
that's
COVID.
What they would say. That's what they would say.
Let's deal with that. OK, so we had COVID, which shrank the UK economy by 10% overnight. We spent hundreds of billions protecting people's jobs through furlough and bounce back loans. And nobody was saying spend less money then. They were saying we want you to spend more. We had the Ukraine-Russia war, which imported huge inflationary pressures into the economy, and we had to deal with that. And we did. That's very different from the situation we have now.
We're on the growing benefits bill.
Well, we were arresting that growth, actually. We put forward reforms to the work capability assessment that the OBR said would see 450,000 fewer people going on to long-term sickness and health benefits. The first thing that this government did was to scrap that entirely. And that is part of the story as to why the benefits bill continues to skyrocket. They tried to reform benefits a few months back, couldn't get it past their backbenchers. And I'm afraid what you've got at the moment is an economy which is being driven by the internal politics of the Labour Party, who are not able to get on top of spending. And getting on top of spending is the way to get taxes down, get people back into work and support those hard-working people up and down our country.
I guess my point there is that, you're kind of portraying yourselves as the kind of low-tax Conservatives. If you want your taxes to go down, vote Conservative. And I'm just saying that it's just a bit at odds with your kind of record, isn't it?
So I've explained that there were particular fiscal pressures around. If you step in to save,
I think people would perhaps appreciate it if you just said, yeah, we taxes are too high under the last Conservative government.
Look, what I've clearly said is there were fiscal consequences, including around tax, because we had to step in to support the economy, and that is the story of higher taxes at the tail end of the Conservative time in office. But where we are now, and looking at the economy as it is now, the route to growth and greater productivity and greater prosperity lies in lower government spending and lower taxes. It doesn't lie in putting up taxes, as this government is yet again breaking all their promises, and putting up the benefits bill. The incentives are in the wrong place when you do that.
Do you acknowledge that the markets quite like this budget?
I think markets are relieved that the weeks of turmoil and chaos that we had in the lead up to this budget, where the Treasury was leaking suggested contents of that budget and then U-turning on it left, right and centre, at least we know where we stand.
It's a bit more than that, isn't it? What they like is the headroom. They think that is economically responsible, don't they?
Of course, all else being equal, more headroom, of course, is positive.
So do you give credit to the Chancellor for probably fighting for that against
No. If you look at that's the wrong question. The question is, why is it that she's needed?
I
should actually. I should be interviewing myself.
What question should I ask you?
What I think the right question.
Why is Kevin Bacon such a great leader of the Conservatives?
The right question is, why is it that we're looking so closely at the Chancellor's headroom? Why is it we're discussing how high it is? The reason is that she blew one lot of it. It was wafer thin last time around. She's mismanaged the economy, and now everybody's worried and fixated about headroom. They shouldn't be. They should be confident in our economy, in its ability to grow and generate those tax revenues in time. That will see us getting the debt down. And that's not the position we're in, unfortunately.
Can I ask you about coming based on?
Yeah.
Because I was sat in this chair when I watched her do the response to Rachel Reeves. She had a bit more time to prepare it, of course, because she knew it was in the budget earlier. Now, there were some people who would say that actually it was a great response, that it was fiery, that she came out, all guns blazing. Others might feel a bit uncomfortable with it. At one point she almost did like a kind of impression of Rachel Reeves. Do you think she got the tone right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this is a moment of high theatre in the House of Commons when you have a budget, and both sides do it, and most people that contribute in that debate do it too. The fundamental point that she was making, I think, was particularly around this assertion...
Is it a bit Mean Girls, do you think?
I don't see it that way. I think the fundamental point that she was addressing is that the Chancellor did come out and say, oh, there's all this mansplaining going on, and etc. That is a diversion and a distraction from the mess that she has been creating. This has not been a matter of gender. This has been a matter of economic incompetence. And I'm afraid that's what you've seen. And Kemi was quite right to make that point.
OK, thank you.